Hi everyone, this is Rachel at StudioUs again with another at-home drawing lesson for you guys. Today we're going to take on a fun one and do a marker picture of Lego Batman soaring through the sky. So grab your materials and we'll get started. You're going to need a blank piece of paper, a drawing pencil, a large eraser to clean off your pencil lines at the end, and a Sharpie marker to go over all of your pencil lines. Go ahead and get started with our first steps. We've got a really big circle. It's a little more to the top than it is to the bottom, so not right in the center of the page. So I'm going to use what I can see there to mark out my top, my sides, keeping those about even, and my bottom, giving a little extra room at the bottom. Sure it's about the same size. I notice that I need to bring down my height a little bit. That way my width is about the same length as my height. Move down my center points. And from there I'm going to start sketching in my circle. Give myself guidelines, sort of like hour marks on a clock. It helps me keep track of how things are curved around. Once we've got our marks in, start sketching in the rest of that curve. Keep it nice and rounded so we don't get pointy ends where we've got our top, bottom, and side marks. Next, we're going to start sketching in the buildings. So I'm going straight down from the center and marking out where I see my first set of buildings coming in, and then tipping up at an angle and marking out where I see that building end. From there, I'm going to get my vertical lines. Down, slanting over at an angle, another vertical line. A little bit of a tip up, then slanting down at an angle again. Mark out about how long I want it. Come down at about the same angle as the other lines. Same thing on the other side. Mark where I see it starting, get my vertical line. This one's a little taller. Work my way back, angling up and down as I see it going. Filling in my straight lines in between the buildings. And then finishing it out with our final vertical line and our final angled line. Next, we're going to draw in the body for our Batman. So I'm going to give myself a dot right about anywhere I see an angled point. So wherever there's a corner, create a dot, draw a curved line for the side. Just draw those together like a simple dot shape. Really take your time dotting that out. This is a tricky shape. Inside curve, and I've got Batman's body. Next we're going in with the head, so I'm going to mark where it starts and ends. and give myself a little guideline for about how high I want the ears to go. From there I can draw a curved line down, coming back around to finish up the ear. Same thing on the other side, line all the way down the side of the head, then a short curve to finish the ear, and a curve for the top of the head. So I'm marking where I see the wings starting and ending on Batman's neck and body, and about how far out I see them coming outside of the circle. Once I've got my two main lines coming out, I can draw those in, and then start creating the three bumpy curves we have for that bat wing shape. Curving in and down to that bottom line, and then connecting. Same process on the other side. I'm going to see where it starts and ends, about how far out it goes outside of that moon shape. Curve in my top and bottom lines, and then get my three bumps going down the side of the wing. A little touch up to even up that curve in the center. I don't want them tipping too far in one direction or another. So we're going to start on some arms, and I'm watching how much of that piece comes into the body. Looking at where it angles up, and in relation to the wing, about how high up it goes. So it's not coming out of the wing, it's not all the way up at the top, it's about halfway up. Curving our line around. Next arm's a little easier. I'm going to mark out where I see it coming in and going back out. Draw out my bottom lines, and a little angle on each, and a curve to close it out. Alright, we're going into the foot. So this part's super tricky. We've got to look carefully at where the corners of those shapes are. So I'm giving myself a few dots, taking it one line at a time. Top curve for the leg, scooping it around, straight line down, and then an angled line up for the foot. And I'm balancing out how much room is between that curved line and the bottom of the foot. Extend it out a little bit, and then straight line up and down, finish the shape. Make it a little shorter. See that his foot doesn't extend past the edge of his body. So I'm going to draw two angled lines, keeping them roughly the same angle. Close it up, and then finish out the rectangle on the bottom of the foot. That part was super tricky. Really take your time. About the center of the top edge of the foot, we're going to do another curved line and bring it around to close out the shape on his leg, make it look three-dimensional. And then nice and easy, we've got two parallel lines coming in for his belt. Alright, second leg comes out of the first one. We're going to get that curve first. Second curve. Lines up with the first one a little bit. Doesn't quite go down far enough to get his foot out of that moon shape zone. Curving it down. A little angle out for the toe. Parallel line a little longer for the foot. And then we'll connect it back up, making sure it stays underneath that first foot. Get our upward angled lines to help us make the shape 3D. wherever we have a little point, we're going to get an upward angled line and then replicate that curve coming around. Those legs are tough. Hang in there. Really take your time. Don't be afraid to try a couple times on it. For these hands, we've got kind of a curly Q shape. A little bit like the letter C. Just turn sideways coming out of the hand. Going inside, fill it out, make it smaller. Angled line over. Recreate that curve to make it look 3D. Little wrist. Angled line coming over. Recreating that curve to make it look 3D. Got another C shape for the other hand. This one's a little more even. Inside, bringing it around. Angle up and then recreate your curve. Angle up. Draw in that curve again. Go in and get the details on his belt. So I'm marking out the center, extra sidelines, and then getting the little pocket details. So I've got a horizontal line, 2 vertical lines going in there. Look really closely and find the areas we need to erase. So some of the lines going through the leg, clearing out where his body overlaps there and touching it up. Make sure you do a really good job with your erasing and then touch up your lines. Little line where the arm connects to the body. The lines where the wings go outside of the moon. There we go. Alright, we're giving him a face. So I'm going to start with that center line for the nose. And get the top part for his eyebrows. It kind of goes flat and then tips up. Goes flat. Up both sides. Get at our nose shape, 2 little angles up from the end, and then connecting to form a little bit of a diamond shape there. Building out the mouth as a rectangle, with the nose poking in a little bit. Very carefully, we're going to sketch the details for the mouth. It's a little uneven. One side's a little more open than the other. Line for the teeth and the lip. And then look at the eyes. These are kind of shaped like sideways teardrops. So pointy on one end, rounded on the other, and a little detail line inside. Mirrors the first one. And we've got it. Alright, adding in the structure for the bat wings. So I'm going to look for the big line coming up the top, bring it all the way out to the tip of the wing. And from there I'm going to look at where the lines start and where they connect. They always work out to those points and the curves on the wings. So watching where the line ends, mark it out and bring it out to one of the points. Same thing on the other side. I want to start with that top line, going all the way out to the top point, connecting down to a shoulder. And we're going to get those other lines coming in from the point and connecting to that line we just put in. finally, we've got our bat. So I'm going to start with two little lines and a V connecting the top parts of the lines to create the head for the bat. A little half U shape on either side to curve it up. Curving the lines down all the way out to the corners of his chest to create the top of those wings. Mark out the center, get a couple little bumps to create that bat shape. Try to make sure you're keeping an even amount of space in there. Don't be afraid to give it a second try if you need to. And that takes care of our drawing. So we're going to grab our Sharpie marker and carefully go over all of our Sharpie lines. Grab your eraser, clean off any pencil lines underneath that Sharpie, and we'll start coloring. So we're going to grab a bright blue, draw a ring around the moon, trying to keep it even, and then fill it in. We're just using a plain blue Crayola marker on this part. Careful not to get the tips of the wings. After that, we're going in with a dark blue or azure color, filling in the rest of the background in the sky. I'm going to try to curve it around that shape as much as possible to make it look nice and smooth. So I outline all my buildings, outline where the azure touches the blue, and then fill it in. Grab a light purple and get just the highlighted edges on the buildings. Grab a regular purple and fill in the rest of the buildings, careful to outline around our highlights. We're going to grab a yellow and put a circle inside the moon to create that light ring on the edge, then fill it in. Going in with a golden yellow, we'll fill in the rest of the moon, careful to outline the edge where the golden yellow would touch the light yellow for the highlight. Gold yellow or bright yellow again. We're going to get all the yellow spots on Batman. Going in with our golden yellow to get any shadows. You can also use the yellow to get those bright yellow highlights on the gray parts, so it looks like the moon is lighting them up a little bit. We're going to take our azure or dark blue and get the highlights on the wings. Follow those lines we drew in on the wing structure. Taking a gray, we're going to color in all of the gray parts of the body. Very careful not to color over our highlights or any of our yellow details. So you can see how I carefully outline those yellow highlights we put in to make sure they stay nice and bright and don't get covered up by the gray. Black, we're going to color in the bottom of the foot, get all the black details on the wings. Again, careful not to go over your blue highlights. peach, we'll get the face. Going back in with the black to get the eyes. And then we're doing a second coat of gray to build up any shadow colors we see. So I'm getting all those little edge shadows, building up nice and dark on the darker sides. And finally, you can take a white oil pastel and dot in some stars. And that'll finish it up for our Batman. Hope you had a great time, and we'll see you for the next one.